What up, what up? It's Gavin from MLS Now, and today we're talking about New England Revolution's revolution. Yeah, so today I wanted to talk through New England Revolution just because they have been by far the most active team in MLS in the transfer market this winter. And so just thought we'd break it down a little bit, and I wanted to actually look at their two center backs that are coming in. I think we know a little bit about all of their other players coming in. We'll look through it here in a second. But specifically their center backs who are coming from abroad, wanted to look through some YouTube videos, see if I like them, see if I hate them, and see if they are on the right track. Before you do that, make sure to, like, subscribe, do all the things you do. Leave a comment if you are loving the videos thus far. We've also started, obviously, we're a podcast, so we've also started putting all of the highlights of the podcast into short form videos. So if you don't want to, or if you're not able to, I should say, sit through a hour and a half long recording, we're going to start trying to get the podcast clips up essentially every single week. It's a little hard. It's been a couple of busy weeks for me at work. So it's been kind of hard to get them up, timely. Instead, they've been going up like a week after we posted the podcast because it does take time. But so far so good. We have the last two episodes with those highlights out. So if you weren't able to catch the episodes, we do have some highlights of some key topics that you may want to see. So go check out the YouTube channel for that. If you're watching this, obviously you're checking out the YouTube channel, and we really appreciate it. Okay. All that out of the way, let's talk about New England Revolution. So let me pull up the screen. Okay, you should be able to see now New England Revolution. And just at a high level, I'll kind of zoom out here. Don't look at the names just yet, but just New England Revolution. We've got that many incomings, take away the re-signings maybe, and then looking at who's left. Most of these are just people leaving out of contract. No announcement on any of these guys being re-signed here. And then option declined as well. They will be leaving too for the most part. And then you look at some of the other teams, just going to scroll through kind of quickly. A lot shorter lists, both incoming and outgoing. So New England Revolution, like I said, RSL have been pretty busy on the outgoing side. New England Revolution have been the busiest. We're not going to count San Diego FC either. Busiest MLS team in the off-season to date, incoming and outgoing. So let's just quickly, at a high level, talk about who's coming in. So they've re-signed Earl Edwards Jr., Andrew Farrell, and Will Sands. No, I got nothing there. I think those are three re-signings that are just fine. But Mamadou Fofana from Amiens SC over in League 2 in France. And then Brayan Ceballos from Fortaleza, which I believe is in Brazil, I had his transfer marked up earlier. And I believe Fortaleza's in Brazil. He was on loan to Dynamo Kiev, but I believe Brazil. Okay, not losing my mind there. So these are the two center backs we're going to be looking at shortly. We're going to be looking at some video there. But before that, we've also got Jackson Ewell, who they announced as a free agent a few days ago. Leo Campagna, we'll be talking about that trade between New England Revolution and Inter Miami. Alex Bono, free agent signing, and Tanner Beeson, free agent signing as well. And then on the outgoing side, not going to go through all of them. I think the notable ones would be Arriaga having his option declined, Barrero having his option declined, and then Tim Parker letting his contract go out. And then the three trades, it's one trade I should say, 3 players traded to San Jose for not a lot of GAM, if we're being honest here. Harks, Mark Anthony Kay, and Dave Romney. I believe it was like 500,000 GAM, and then if you add in the international stuff I think they got or something like that, it went up to like 600,000 or 700,000. Not a lot for 3 players when many times we see 1 player for 700,000, or we see Leo Campana for, I think it was a league record, 2.5 million GAM, something insane like that. So we'll be talking about that. Let's go ahead and actually pull up that article real quick of Leo Campana to New England. I didn't have that ready. I wanted to look at that just to see exactly what the totals were. Oh, okay. I was way off. Okay, not quite. Okay, 2.5 million guaranteed general allocation money. Looks like it can go up to 3.25, and a sell-on and an international roster slot. Okay, Campana's a good striker. I think this is a good pickup from a player perspective from New England, but they paid a lot of resources for this one player. Now, in the setup that New England are going to have next year, he has to deliver. He has to. If he doesn't, they've just totally sunk their ship with a lot of resources, because obviously we saw that the GAM totals were released a few days ago, I think, and I believe New England had a decent amount of GAM, and that was right before this trade was announced, and a lot of their GAM just got eaten up in this one trade. So definitely going to be really interesting to see how Leo Campana does here. I think a new place, well, a new team will do good for him, a new project for Leo Campana, and I do really like him as a striker. I think he's one of the better ones in the league. He's just been unfortunate to, be behind Luis Suarez this season, and he came up with some big goals for Inter Miami. I can pull up his stats real quick. He had, let me zoom in here for you guys, 8 goals, 2 assists, and 28 appearances, only starting less than half of the games, though, so it's always hard to make impact off the bench. But we've seen him have, I think, double-digit goals. Yeah, 11 goals and 26 appearances in his first season, 1,500 minutes. 9 goals, 4 assists, and 26 appearances in 1,600 minutes, and then 28 appearances. So New England are going to definitely want him to make more appearances than just 26 and 28. And I know he's had his injury struggles, Leo Campana, and so that's another concern for New England. But they seem pretty confident that this is their guy. So, huge new striker for them. They've been struggling for strikers recently, ever since... I can't even remember his name anymore. Who's the striker that they had that did pretty good a couple seasons ago, and then they sold him on to some random European league? What was his name? Is he on here? Not Vrioni. Buxa. Adam Buxa. That's who I was thinking of. Yeah, he had done pretty good for them, if I remember correctly, and then they had to move him on. So, unless I'm thinking of all the way back to 2021, I don't think so. Yeah, it's definitely Buxa. So, yeah, that's the Campana deal. I think, again, New England bad on the resource allocation side of things, on the GAM side, way overspent, but good player, and I think he will do well in a new place, new team. Jacksonville, another player who could use a new team at this point in time. Let's go to his transfer marked. He has been with San Jose, I believe, his whole career. Yeah. Since 2017, he went from Reno FC, which I'm sure is San Jose's USL team or something like that. And then he's been with San Jose ever since. Bummer for San Jose to lose him on a free, because he is a player that could have generated quite a bit of GAM for them, but instead they let his contract go out. And he's been a good servant for San Jose. He's played, obviously, a lot of games across all these seasons. He's been a U.S. men's national team midfielder, U.S. men's national team caliber midfielder. You see here he's started in a variety of different roles, and I think it's going to be a change for San Jose in midfield, obviously a big one, but they need a change on the San Jose side of things. And then New England, they need a brand new midfield. They need a brand new squad, and that's exactly what we're seeing them do here. Early business. Caleb Porter is getting his players in. The club is getting their players in as well. Hopefully everybody's on the same page there, and it's not like Caleb Porter wanted this player New England Revolution as a club wanted Jackson Uweel, for example, and there's friction there. We don't want that. We want them to all be on the same page. Hopefully this is the case with Uweel. Obviously, you can see not really a goal scorer, and that you wouldn't expect him to be. He's definitely a defensive midfielder, and one of the better ones in the league. So I think this is make or break for him in the league in terms of cementing his career as one of the better defensive midfielders. I remember quite a few years back, Uweel feels to me like Will Trapp kind of did, where Will Trapp had a really good first stint in his career at his first club. I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. Maybe Seattle or Toronto, I can't remember. But then he moved on to a different club and it didn't work out there. And then he moved to a different club and it didn't work out there. And he went from being one of those like household names in MLS to, oh, he's still around. And Uweel, I think, is going to be in a similar trajectory. Is he going to, or I guess it's a question, is he going to be on that similar trajectory? Is he going to be a, oh, he's still around? Or is Uweel going to be a household name in MLS, one of the better defensive midfielders in the league? We shall see. New England obviously would love the latter. So that's Uweel. And obviously getting him for free, that kind of balances out the Campana one a bit, because that's obviously great resource allocation. I haven't read the article, but I doubt they gave him a DP slot. I would be really surprised. I guess I can go check real quick. I'm sure you guys can hear me typing, but sorry about that. Oh shoot, that wasn't... I want just the sign-in real quick. Not a proven player. Undergoing squad rebuild. Yeah, he's. There's no way they would have called out that he's a DP. So, yeah, good signing for New England. Some other signings. I'll just do a quick hit on Alex Bono. He's been a starter in his time in the league for the most part. He's been a backup some seasons as well. But he's a pretty decent goalkeeper. I think he's, excuse me, I think he's like, I don't know, top 20, top 25, like in that range, 20 to 25th. I think he's starting caliber, and I don't think he's going to make too many mistakes for them. But he's not like one of the best goalkeepers in the league. Now, maybe he can grow into that. As we've seen some keepers do, they go from being like third string goalkeeper somewhere, they go to a new team, they work with a new goalkeeper coach, and everything just goes right for them, and then they get their confidence up, and then they just turn into unstoppable goalkeepers. Maybe that's what we'll see with Bono. He has had a fresh start, I believe. I think he's moved to a couple clubs, DC, Toronto, probably somewhere else, and it hasn't really been amazing for him. He's just been kind of average. I wouldn't be surprised to see more of the same for Bono here in New England. And then Tanner Beeson, also coming over from San Jose as a free agent. Solid backup defender for the team. So, yeah, really decent start to the transfer window. I'm not going to, give it my stamp of approval from an MLS side of things. Just yet, I obviously want to see them play and see how they fit into the system. Because you look at this list of names, and if you're thinking positively, you're thinking, yeah, we've got our striker, we've got our midfielder, we've got our goalkeeper, like the spine of the team is good. Now we're going to kick on, and they're all going to deliver, and it's going to be great. And then if you're thinking negatively, you might be thinking, Uweel, he was just part of one of the worst team, or the worst team in MLS history. Campana coming off the bench for Miami, Bono, middle-level goalkeeper, and Beeson, a backup defender. Doesn't really move the needle for me. So there's a few different ways you could look at it. It's all about, do they deliver, and what do they deliver? It's kind of like, are they going to be good enough? And then will they, or what will they deliver for the team? Because maybe it could all come together and work very nicely. Okay. Then we've got, let's start with Mamadou Fofano from Ligue 2. I did find a YouTube video of Fofana, and so let's just bring this up, and I don't want to spend too much time on the video, but I do want to just watch it, and see what are New England getting, because I do think I've watched a little bit of this, and I've watched a little bit of the other player as well, and I do remember being pretty impressed. Now, obviously, it is a highlights reel of a defender, and so you hope that every game they're doing some pretty good stuff. But so there's a lot of moments to clip up essentially. But you know, I just want to see what they're getting. And this is Fofana, so we'll look at Ceballos in a minute here. But so far, so good. You know, he's making tackles, he's staying on his feet for the most part. Not seeing a ton of passing yet. The title is Passes and Tackles. All we've seen is passes. It is the first minute, so you never know. Maybe this is where we'll get into passes, yeah, with the little cut there. And that was a tasty pass right into the path of his attacker down the line. That one's always a good one. Clearly right-footed. We're not seeing a whole lot of left-footed play. And just, you know, the editors on these types of videos, they love a long pass. I'd love to see if he has any like along the ground passes, essentially like along the ground progressive passes, because if he could have that from a center back perspective, those are really, really dangerous, and I haven't seen that yet. Obviously, I'm sure he's done it once or twice before, but having that kind of threat from a center back to be able to play in between the lines to come on his feet would be nice for them to have. But I'm just, you know, I'm not seeing a ton of it. Something like that, except a lot more. Defensively, he looks like he times his tackles well. To me, he looks like someone who's going to be a starting center back for New England Revolution, potentially. I don't know. Was he starting for Amiens? 14 appearances this season. In the first half of the season, starting 11, 81%. So he's a starter. He is a starter in Ligue 2 for Amiens. I'm probably saying that wrong. So I think he's going to come over and be a pretty good center back for them. He might not start every single game, but I do think he's going to play quite a bit. A lot of just good, solid stand-up tackling, and then I like that he wins the ball. Like, I feel like every single tackle, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you put a tackle in and the ball keeps going on, but he gets it, and in those collisions, he comes out with the ball pretty consistently. So I think that's something you want to see from your defenders as well. Is that him? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's a crazy goal from a center back to go all the way up the field and do that. Yeah, so I'm impressed from that little bit. Obviously, just a highlights reel. Maybe he does a lot of mistakes, but obviously they're not going to show that on a highlights reel. All right, now we're going to move into Brayan Ceballos, center back from Fortaleza, and this is from, I think the last video is from a year ago too. This one's from a year ago, so there is that caveat. There could have been a little bit of a downgrade, or there could have been an upgrade. We don't know. I remember watching this video, and my main takeaway that I wanted to talk to y'all about is this guy is a threat on set pieces. There were so many videos. I mean, this first one obviously is him scoring a goal. But so many set pieces where he was getting ahead on it. And I think that's a much needed threat for New England. They're going to need goals. And if you can get them off of corners, that is definitely a way to get goals in MLS. Good play there to be able to dribble through. That's the stuff. That's the stuff that you want your center backs to be able to do. Carry the ball, dribble past one or two players, and then initiate an attack. And then also be able to be last man defender. Definitely from these videos, he likes to go to ground a lot. Man, that's risky, but that's good. And that's the pass I was talking about. That pass right there. Let me go back to it. Obviously, there's a ton of space. Like a lot of a lot of defensive players can make that pass. A lot of professional players can make that pass, but you want them to make that pass. Gets beat there, able to recover. Not great getting beat, but it is what it is. Big header. This guy feels like and I could see this guy being a starter for them as well alongside Fofana. Like, I could see just that being the partnership. This guy's definitely if you think of a defensive partnership, he definitely feels like the aggressive one. It's like Fofana will cover and he'll mop up the long balls, and then this guy's going to step forward and, shove the center back in the back, and take the ball forward and try to dribble past a guy as a defender. That kind of stepping up and being an aerial threat. And then obviously on the set pieces, winning those as well. He just looks like an all-action center back. He looks like someone who can run and cover back as well. It doesn't look like it would be a weakness. I mean, from everything I'm looking at here, he looks like someone who's going to do great in the league. Honestly, he looks like someone who's going to be one of those players who, in a couple years' time could be in the running for center back of the year or defender of the year conversations. He's really impressing me in these clips. Now again, these are the highlights. There could be low moments. Why isn't he working out in Dynamo Kiev on loan? I was looking at his stats. We'll pull his up as well. Ceballos. This season, only 160 minutes for them in the league. And then for Fortaleza, it's not totally working out. So last year, I should say, 2023, and then 2024. Not a ton of minutes. And so you look at this and you think, well, what's going on? Oh, this isn't even Fortaleza. This is Junior. So yeah, I look at that. I'm like, what's going on? Why isn't he playing? Like, he looks like a quality defender. So maybe there's something that, obviously, these are highlights. So maybe there's something that I'm not seeing. Defensive mistake-wise. I mean, we probably don't have to watch the full 5 minutes. I'll put the link in the description if you want to, but I think you guys get the gist. He just seems, my take is all action center back who can attack as a center back, who can defend as a center back. He can clearly win headers and aerial duels. There's another one. He's a threat in the box. He can dribble past a guy. He can make a pass just like that. Like, this looks like a really good pickup for New England. I don't know why he's not playing for his clubs. That's the one thing that I would caveat and say, I wonder what's going on. Is there a mistake issue? Does he make really bad mistakes that this video just isn't showing? That's the only thing I'm questioning. So, okay. I think we can end it there. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm very positive about what we're gonna see from New England next year. I know I was kind of saying what will they deliver. There's a positive lens, there's a negative lens, but if I were to give an answer, I think they're moving in the right direction as a club. And I always say get the spine of your team right first, and then worry about getting the wingers later. And it seems like they're doing that. Mamadou Fofano, Brayan Ceballos, I like those two players. I think they're going to be quality defenders for them, quality defenders in this league. Uweel, and then Campana. Not so sure about Bono, but I think he could do a job. I can't even remember. Is it Ivicic that they have? Do they still have Ivicic? or 2024. Let me go look at the transfer market again. Yes, they still have Ivicic, who is a decent goalkeeper as well, and then they have Earl Edwards Jr., who's been a decent goalkeeper too. And so it looks like 3 decent goalkeepers, and who's going to win that starting job between the 3 of them is going to be really interesting to see. So a very competitive landscape in the goalkeeper department for New England. But I think things are looking positive for New England, and it's all about Caleb Porter getting the team together, getting them on the same strategy, playing hard for each other, playing defense together, playing offense together, and scoring lots of goals. They need to score a lot of goals this season. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think New England Revolution are going to be good next year? Do you think that this is enough? What more do you guys think New England need? All that fun stuff. Thanks for listening, and as always, till next time.